Hey guys, welcome back. On the bench today we've got a CZ52. These guns replaced the CZ50 when the Czechs realized that the 32 ACP cartridge in the CZ50 was just not powerful enough. These guns were manufactured to use the 9mm Luger or 9mm Parabellum, and at that time they were part of the Soviet Union. The Soviets would not allow them to use the 9mm. They pretty much told them they had to use the 7.62 Tokarev round. The Czechs said, fine, we'll use the... And these guns stayed in service until 1983 when they were replaced by the CZ52. Excuse me. If we check out some of the markings that are on the gun, and I've already taken the liberty, I've got the grips loose on the gun. These are this gun's been Americanized. The original plastic grips have been replaced with some, I believe they're walnut, but that's for a minute. Now, you look at some of the markings on the gun, and I'm sorry about the shadow. So if you look here, you see a 53. This gun was made in 53. The cross swords are the military acceptance mark. CAI stands for Century Arms International, out of St. Albany, Vermont. It's marked here 7.62 Tokarev. The VOP stands for when it was rearsenaled, and it was rearsenaled in 1992. Down here inside the magwell, there are some additional stamps that I believe are just inspection stamps during the production process. Now, if you flip the gun over, here you'll see the serial number and RID. Now, the RID means that it's military manufacture. The fit and finish on these is not too bad. There are places where you'll find machine marks. Some inside the magwell. But we'll take the slide off this, and there's a couple things I want to show you inside there. To pop the slide, you just pull down on this. Slides forward just a little bit. Comes off in your hand. Look inside the frame here. You see more machine marks. But what I wanted to talk about here, this is a mostly matching gun. Like I said, you pointed out here that the serial number here is 10380. On the top of the slide, 10380. Now, there's also a small punch mark. I don't know if it's showing up right here. And there is some talk that punch mark, and there can be multiple ones of those, sometimes as many as 4. Those punch marks were for when the gun was rearsenaled and checked for accuracy, one punch being the best. Somewhere there's a debate on one of the gun forums. You know what, folks? I don't know. Personally, what it looks to me like, and take it for what it's worth, that punch looks like it's a stake mark to keep the slide from moving left to right. Because if you look real hard, or that sight, to keep the sight from moving left to right, if you look real hard, that sight isn't centered. So, you know, read into it what you want. But it still looks like, to me, that punch mark just stakes the sight in place. Now, there is some controversy in these guns. They have what's called a decocker. And what happens with that decocker is when the hammer is back, you take the safety and you just push up on it. It lets the hammer down. And that's supposed to be able to let the hammer down on a loaded chamber without firing the gun. However, there is proof There are actual instances where people have used that decocker, and the guns went off. Well, there's a reason for that. When you use this decocker, and I should say, on a modern gun, when you use a decocker, there's several different styles. One style is that it inserts a bar or a barrier in front of the hammer once it's let down to where the hammer does not hit the firing pin. There are other styles of decockers that I've heard of that doesn't allow the hammer to go via the hammer strut, doesn't allow the hammer to go all the way forward and hit the firing pin. This decocker works on your thumb strength. If I use this decocker, see, I can hold the hammer in place. I'm hoping that's showing. But as I let off with my thumb, the hammer comes forward. The strength of your thumb actually keeps that hammer from hitting the firing pin. You can let it down with your thumb, and I believe that's how it's intended to be used. If you just and drop it, you will feel recoil from that safety into your thumb. In fact, it left a dent in my thumb. Another thing about this gun, the magazine release is on the same spring as the hammer. Pretty cool, right? Save space, save production costs. The Czechs are pretty smart. I am a big fan of CZ firearms. CZ firearms, this time era, were made with a side plate. Modern ones, I don't believe, have them. And we're going to go ahead and take this side plate off. The best way to do this, before you do anything, is you have to take the trigger pin and push it out a little bit. And you should be able to just push that. You shouldn't have to beat on it. You shouldn't have to smoke it with anything. It should just come over. And you don't have to take it all the way out. Just take it out a little. And there's a nut back here. And I don't have a wrench available right now to get this off. But I could do it with a pair of needle nose. And then I'll just take it off the rest of the way. Now, this is the tricky part, because these are pressed in here pretty tight, and you got to do it without damaging the finish or the gun. I've seen people get in here with bars and screwdrivers and pry that up. You really shouldn't have to pry that much on these side plates. There we go. It should just come without very much effort. Oh, see, I just pushed that trigger pin back in a little bit. I don't think this one's ever been off. Wow. It doesn't feel like it's ever been off. Again, folks, just take your time. There we go. There we go. Now, it's really simple, the operation of this thing. Am I in frame? Yeah, okay. Hammer comes back, right? Put it on fire. You pull the trigger. Now what happens is this hammer or this trigger bar right here moves forward and engages the sear right there. So we're going to do that. and it just drops the hammer down. Real simple. Real simple. CZ guns at this time, in this manufacturer, were incredibly simple. And that's why they were so reliable. Now, we're going to cock that hammer back again. Watch right here. Watch this right here. If I take that on the other side here, I'm going to move the safety and put it in the safe. Okay, watch. We're watching right here. When I put that into safety, what that does is that moves down into that cutout on that trigger bar right here. And it doesn't allow the trigger bar to come forward. It stops it from engaging the sear. Simple. Very simple. It's what I love about Czech guns. They're all very simple. So we're going to put this back together now. And there is, see this, if you look on the side cover, right here, there's a lip right there. This is why we don't pry on the front by the trigger to get this off. Okay? To put this back on, that lip goes in first, like that. And then the gun goes back together. Side cover goes back on. And the hardest part of this, see that pin right there? The sear pin? You got to get that back in the hole. So you got to maneuver it around. And then it just snaps back in. No worries. So we're going to put the nut back on. And there we go. Oh, I just scratched that. Damn it. Damn it. Drop the hammer. No problems. Now what everybody talks about with these guns, it's got a dual roller recoil block. These are simple blowback guns, but it's got a dual roller release. There was a German machine gun, I believe it was the MG42, that worked the same way. To get the barrel out of this gun, the easiest way is to use the magazine, the lip on the magazine. Take it, pull it forward, pull it out. Now, remember I told you guys that this gun is serialized, it's all matching. Serial number on the slide, serial number on the frame. Well, I kind of fibbed to you. In the 90s, when these were being imported, a company that I can't recall off the top of my head made a 9mm barrel for them. And this gun happens to have one of those barrels. 9mm Luger right there. Hope you can read it. And that's why this barrel doesn't have a serial number to match the gun. It's not the original barrel. I don't shoot this gun much, just because of that. I believe the last time I saw one of these barrels, it was on eBay and they wanted $300 for it. Now, I don't know what they sold for new, but I'm not going to pay $900 or $300 for a what is that, 4-inch barrel. It's pretty unique. I would really like to have the original Tokarev barrel, not because I think it's any better, but because it matches the gun. But you know, it is what it is. Let's put this, getting this apart is a lot easier than putting it back together. I'm going to tell you right now. When this barrel sits in here, it protrudes out the front of the slide just a little bit. You got to get it to there and then drop it back in. And that little protrusion right there it makes it an adventure. It really makes it an adventure. But let's try this, and hopefully this one time I'll be wrong and it'll pop right back in. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Put the recoil spring on, put it in, slide it forward. Fun times. Yeah, see, now that's hanging up. Got it. Grab the magazine. And now it's in. Ta-da! Then we'll put the slide back on the gun. Bring the hammer back. Pops back on. Rock it backwards. Reassembled. Then we'll put the grips back on. And then there's this retaining clip. It goes on here. Snaps in place. Gun is completely whole again. That's all for my little CZ53, or 52. I'm sorry, 52. Neat little guns. You guys take care. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.